Peace, love, and divine light. It is Capra L. Hoping that everyone is doing well, faring well, taking care of business, but most importantly, keeping their vibration in check. So, speaking of vibration, so yesterday, I had this thing that was going on with me when I was literally going stir crazy. Yeah. So I allowed myself to get out of sync because I wasn't doing proper self-care. I wasn't cleansing. Cleansing is important. Cleansing is more than just cleansing the body, right? I'm talking about spiritual and emotional cleansing, something that we are not taught to do in today's time. Now, a couple of years ago, what year was that? 2015. I was going through a really hard time. I'm gonna give you guys some details of that hard time. It's important. So in 2015, my family and I moved to California. Our life in Georgia had literally fell apart, and there was literally no income coming in, and Spirit was like, it's time to move. I think that was the wind down effect, like, because I wasn't being obedient. And if you didn't watch my obedient video, you can check it out below. I'll leave the link or one of these little things. I'm still figuring out how they do those little tricks of putting a little link above and all that jazz. Anyway, so so check out that video on obedience. But I was being obedient at the time, and for sure I was kind of painted into a corner, and I had to make this big old move. And even when we got here, even though things had been put together before I arrived, like I had found a house, I had found work, I had gotten kids ready for school, none of that happened, nothing. As a matter of fact, I went into a state of depression. I was in a custody battle for my son, who was with us at the time. And I had just lost one of my best friends due to some betrayal shenanigans I'll talk about in another video. The house that I had set up for us had fell apart. The whole deal fell apart. So we were living in a hotel. I had to homeschool the kids, which I was not prepared to do. So here it was, 7 of us, 1, 2, 3, 5 kids, 7 of us inside of a hotel room. I'm talking about Nights Inn. We were in a Nights Inn hotel room. You know those rooms aren't that big. So we're in this hotel room trying to make it in California. Totally different from Georgia. It was a mess. And in the midst of that, I'm hopping around trying to find the best deals of different hotels we can go to live in, to maintain. But as we were maintaining, we're going to these different parts, and anyway, that's a whole nother, I'm not even going to go that deep. But essentially what ended up happening was we finally settled into a location that was suitable. It was in a Buddhist location, and I felt more at peace there than I did in all the different places and different hotels we had went to. But as I'm in this place, I found myself starting to break down. Like, I had been strong up to that point of going through the custody battle, fighting with the different states because of this custody battle. The rumors, the lies, the lack of support. There were a lot of different things that I felt during that time, and I was losing it. I was really losing grips of my strength that I had really found myself standing upon. And I don't know, I just remember that I was meditating one day and I felt like I needed to cleanse. And so I went to looking it up. Found out was something similar to what I had already already knew. When I had a business a few years prior to that, actually about maybe 5 years prior to that, I used to do gift baskets and such. And so I used to make bath salts, right? But I just did like a basic level bath salt kind of thing. But this time, when I discovered that there was a spiritual underlying part to bath salts that I didn't know about until that point, I realized that this is what I needed to help myself, because I already had the basic level. I just amplified that. So I took the bath salts, I took some ingredients that I had and some herbals that I had and a couple of flowers, and I just went to town because I needed something to make myself feel better. I felt so dirty and grungy from going to all these hotels and all these crazy environments, to these different I would have to say now would have been like spiritual attacks that I didn't even realize I was undergoing. But anyway, as I'm going through all that, I felt dirty, I felt heavy, and I just wanted relief, right? And so when I made these salts, even though we did not have a bathtub, we only had a shower, it gave me some sense of I can make it through this. And it wasn't until after I started deeply meditating with different archetypal energies, different ancestral and deity beings, I realized that these practices were very ancient. These practices were things that were done way before now, even before the misunderstanding of now. It was something that was praised and appreciated to go to a bathhouse and cleanse yourself in certain manners, and to go see a priestess or a priest and get certain healings, because cleansing, spiritual cleansing especially, is so therapeutic and healing in ways that you can't even speak upon until you experience it. But yeah, so it's stuff that's been in practice, just not in the Western world, and it was that which I discovered. Okay, now in that discovery, as I decided to do my process and my ritual, cleansing in the shower, each time I did it, I felt more of myself return. I felt renewed. I felt like I was ready to keep going, keep fighting, and keep taking on the world, because I literally felt like it was me against the world at that point. So yeah, it's so amazing. And then when I'm doing readings now for people, when I'm doing healings on people, when I'm helping people through things, and they get a healing and they get a bath detox is what I call it, because it's not just like salts. Like anybody can just get salts. Anyone can do a basic level cleanse. Anybody can do that. But with the energy healing that I've acquired through the years, the energy attunements that I've acquired through the years, the understandings and the practices that I have partaken in, what's the proper term? I think you guys get it. Whatever I learned, I install it into the salts with intentions and through a little bit of infusion of Reiki and things of that nature, to take it to a whole nother level, so that the person who uses it really feels the effects of it and really activates a life change. And yesterday, when I had a moment where I was like frazzled, I was so frazzled, y'all. Like I was everywhere. I was like, I need to ground. I can't. These thoughts are like bouncing all over the place. And I said, okay, let me do this bath. Let me take care of myself. Let me do what's necessary for me to get back to myself. And I grabbed my rejuvenation salts and my liberation salts. And I just made a whole ritual of it, a whole spiritual. I'm trying to show through words and I'm doing a bad job at it, but spiritual has ritual in it, right? I used to have this thing with when people say rituals, I would cringe, like, yo, rituals, like, what are you doing? What are you conjuring up? But spiritual is just a part of the spirit, right? So I have a better understanding now. Yeah, sometimes I go off on a tangent on the deep end, but anyway, trying to round it back around, but I've lost my way. So yes, spiritual bath detoxes, priceless for rebalancing your energy, rejuvenating your aura, aligning your chakras, your energy centers, and of course also connecting to your higher existence, right? So yes, this does exist. It's that higher side of yourself that, give me a second, baby, that it allows you to be more in your godliness, inside of your godship, because of course, yes, we are gods. There are certain scriptures and sacred texts that remind us this, and I believe that that's some of what we're experiencing right now. The awakening that we're having, the shift humanity is having, is coming into your godliness. So that being said, let's take this to a whole deeper level. here we are right now going through this shift in an experience. Of course, I have to be careful with what I'm saying. Apparently, YouTube gives you a hard time. But as we're going through these different changes, we're also going through spiritual changes. The alarm, I don't know what they're in there cooking, but it was going hot and I needed to go and check that out. So anyway, so the spiritual changes that we're experiencing within our inner dimensions, right? And so the truth of the matter is we have to now cleanse ourselves, align ourselves, detox ourselves, rejuvenate ourselves, and really acknowledge ourselves, like acknowledge who we are. And so this is where the importance of doing a spiritual detox comes into play. You can do fasting alongside of this. You can do breath work alongside of this. You can do yoga. But if you do all of that, but you don't wipe away the slate, clean the whiteboard, it's still going to be a mess. You know what I'm saying? So you want to start really understanding the importance of cleansing your spirit energy as well. So all that said, if you are interested in purchasing one, or maybe even getting a consult to know which one you need to get particularly or specifically to you, then you can definitely click the links that I'm going to leave below. One will be for the consultation, which is 15 minutes free. And then the other is for the detoxes that I offer. And so if you are unfamiliar, or maybe I might not even have talked about this, but most of the work that I do, I work with divine feminine energy to help bring back our balance, because of course this is the time of the divine feminine coming back forth and presenting herself as an important part of our universal makings. Okay, we'll definitely probably kind of sort of try to make a promise that I'm going to make another video about that very soon in the future. But we all have divine masculine and divine feminine energy that exists within us, but we just have to find a balance, because we're in the realm of duality. Everything is finding a balance between both parts. So I'll digress on that. So yeah, check out the links below, and thank you all for tuning in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video and all of my other videos that I never talk about. Like, share, and subscribe on. Do that to those too, please. I'm trying to build something here, and it is my desire to help as many people as I can through this time of need, through this time of pandemic and chaos. So please, love you all. Getting higher. Keep working on yourself. This is key. It is more important right now to do the work on yourself than it is to be working on everyone around you. So this is your children and your husband and your wife and your auntie and your uncle and your mother and your father and your sisters. Like, let them do what they need to do and do the work that's important for you. So you can't, what they say on the airplane, you can't give the person next to you air until you give the air properly to yourself. So that's what we're doing right now. And if they see you doing it, then of course they may inquire, and then you can guide them along the way if that is the time and the time is right. So I digress on that too. Check me out on the links below. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, and those links are below also. Thank you for tuning in. Peace, love, and light. Capra L.